Happy Friday, besties. Woo.
Woo!
We made it again. What a long work week that was.
Yes.
What the heck?
Well, I know, especially after a short one last week for those of us in the U.S. that had Labor Day off. Going from 4 days back to 5 days is like, it's like working a month.
Yeah, it really is. It feels like the longest week ever.
And you know what research says? You don't get a lot of productivity out of 5 days, employers. Why don't you drop that back to 4?
For real.
I know. We need to move that way, right? Gosh.
Yeah.
Freaking Henry Ford back in the day with that 5-day work week. Of course, versus 7.
Right. I was going to say.
Yeah, I know. I always dog on Henry Ford, like in my memes, and people are like, but he changed it from 7. I'm like, you don't get the point. It's just a joke. But what would you say is like your least productive day of the week? I'm curious.
Friday.
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I feel like I'm the most productive Friday because like I've not done shit all week.
So then you're hurrying.
So I'm like cramming it all in on Fridays. I would say probably like Tuesday for me. Like Mondays I'm pretty busy, but like Tuesdays I would say that I'm.
See, I do my cram in Thursday.
Yeah.
Prepping for goofing off on Friday. Friday's like when I do all my appointments and stuff. And
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, I fit in those errands and, you know, I'm having the lunch date or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, like I fluff up Friday.
We need to ask that question in our stories
Yeah.
because I'm just curious about that.
I plan on being productive on Friday, so I'm not like Leigh. I rarely, although I did get my hair done this morning, so there we are. But
Nice.
on Friday, but I think I'm going to be productive, and so I plan on, and then I just don't feel like it, and so I'm like really at my worst self, really. So I should do something about that. But here I am on yet another Friday.
Talking to us. No.
Yeah, that's just a mess. So here we are.
Oh gosh. And it's harder for me because last week I was on vacation.
Yes.
And you know how that is. Like you have a taste of freedom.
I want to hear all about San Diego.
Exactly.
Yeah, how San Diego looked different than I thought it would. I thought it would be.
Yeah, there was a lot more ice and magma.
I know, right? There was like fire and ice in San Diego. But you know how it is. Like you have this taste of freedom and then you come back to responsibilities and it's just like, wow, like it really slaps you in the face, doesn't it? But I went to Iceland and it was my first time there. And it was really gorgeous. So I was able to tick off quite a number of bucket list items.
Yay!
But I saw things, of course, that I've just never seen before in my life, right? So like a geyser, like that was really cool. I haven't been to Yellowstone yet, you know?
I saw Old Faithful once. That was nice. But I imagine it looks even more scenic out there.
Yeah. I mean, and there was no people, right? I mean, it was just like very like empty. So that was cool. I saw a geyser. I saw some glaciers, icebergs, like up close. Hadn't seen that, right? Went to a glacier lagoon. That was cool. You know, and then saw an erupting volcano, which was like the major bucket list item for me. I've always wanted to do that, you know, so to see the lava and the the eruption, that's what that was. Shoo means eruption. But, you know, to see that, I mean, when I first saw the volcano, I mean, I started crying. And I was filming that, you know, so I started, you know, crying like, oh my God, like there's a freaking volcano. What the fuck? Like, that's crazy, you know? And to them, it's normal, you know, all the lava beds. And I think, you know, one of the highlights of the trip, you know, I won't do the full, you know, bring out all the photos and take you through the whole trip thing, you know, like back in the day, right? The film strips and all that.
Slideshow. Oh, someone got up to go to the bathroom. We'll wait till you go back.
We'll recap the trip. You know, a couple cool things, of course, was, you know, staying at the Blue Lagoon. That was one of my bucket list items was going there and letting the salt water of the geothermal pools heal me. I just kept saying that all creepy, heal me. Like, you know, every time I got in the water, like we were like, oh my God, like that's really weird. You know, but, heal me, water, heal me. Whatever you can do, help me, please. But the other highlight, and again, probably the biggest bucket list item for me was going to the erupting volcano. And, you know, we went out there at, this is freaking crazy, but midnight and freezing temperatures, 50 mile per hour wind gusts, no flashlight. Did have the sticks though. I bought what is it, like the hiking sticks, the walking sticks.
Oh, I think like the Halloween like glow stick, like for safety. I'm like, how much light did that let off?
No, I brought flares, right? The stick, the flares. No. No, I bought on the Amazon, like the travel kind, and had that in my carry-on, which apparently that's totally okay. TSA says to take, but my nail clippers or, whatever. But anyway, that's a random American rant to the side. So I had the sticks or whatnot because literally hiking, like no trail, right? I mean, you're hiking this old lava bed that's covered in moss. You can't tell if there's a what is it? Crevasse, whatever, like a hole in the damn ground. I mean, like people, they die out there doing that. Middle of the night, right? Till like 1:30 a.m. Those winds are crazy. Can't hear shit, right? Not weatherized. I'm Texan, not weatherized to that shit. Hiked a half mile to get to this ridge point to have a better viewpoint of the erupting volcano. And just that, I took really shitty, I don't know if you all saw my stories, really shitty iPhone videos because you can't, it was so windy, you can't do it, you can't stabilize the phone. I even had to stabilize, you can't stabilize it. But, it's one of those events in life, and I know you all know these sorts of events or things you see where pictures, they don't do the shit justice. Like you can't feel the heat or the glow or the just the vibe of being out there in the stars. I mean, it's crazy, but it was one of those like momentous moments. And I'm there with National Geographic photographers, like laying on that ridge. And it's like, it was like crazy,
That's what I was just about to ask. Like, did you at least have like a tour guide or something?
No.
ChatGPT? Like,
no ChatGPT, no AI at all. Like just went out there old school.
This sounds like a good team building exercise.
Don't talk about the hiker.
Let's go to a volcano in the middle of the night in freezing temperatures.
Let's see who's all in. Work hard, play hard. No, we didn't mean that hard. Please.
Exactly. But of course, since I was there, I was getting like all these reels, right? And that's what was washing up on my, my algorithm trash can. And this one, all crazy, that same eruption, just like maybe the day before I had been out there, one of these tourists had gone out and literally hiked the full mile and a half, mile and a quarter, something like that, from where we were to the rim. And a local guy filmed it with the drone. And so, he's showing the tourists, we should share it, in the story so you can see what I'm talking about, is sharing how this tourist is like, hi, like sitting at the rim. And
hi, bye.
Hi, I might die.
And the local guy was freaking out because he's like, he could see in the drone that there's all these red like fissures under him. Like he was just on a crusty spot and the guy struggled to get down. He could have fallen right through, obviously, and been just eaten up by the earth. Like
oh my God.
What an idiot to go out there just like, hi, and he's all waving and all, and the drone guy's like freaking out. Oh my God, this guy. So maybe that guy got a little too close, but
so people be people in elsewhere.
Yeah, people be people in Iceland.
People be people in. So to your point about team building, like you take the company out there, and then you always got that one coworker,
that one dumbass
that goes on ahead and ruins it and just gets sucked up by lava. Gets burned alive by lava. That's how every team building goes.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
But highly recommend. And just a couple fun facts from the Iceland. You can't do right on red.
Oh, how'd you learn that?
Yeah, I was going to say, did you get pulled over?
No, the rental car people are like, no right on red. I mean, they're like really adamant about that, right?
Oh, well, that's good.
You have to be careful. You have to buy all sorts of crazy insurance when you go there for the cars. If you take a car, because it's so freaking windy, it rips the doors off the cars.
Wow.
Can you believe it is so freaking windy? Isn't that wild? 7 Icelands can fit into Texas. Because, of course, as a Texan, you always run that stupid stat, on the Google or whatever.
Wait, did they tell you that?
No, well, I Googled it.
She Googled it.
Yeah.
Listen, say this is the most helpful rental car company.
I know, right? They tell you, hey, just that, you're from Texas? Oh, well, 7 of us can fit in you. That's what she said. Oh, my God.
I was going to say that is what she said.
Reminds me of my college days. Oh, man. Went to a state school.
He said
Yeah,
she said by
exactly.
the rim shore volcano. Ah.
Oh, heavens.
And then Iceland is the size of Ohio. Fun fact.
Oh, okay.
So 7 Ohios can fit into Texas.
There
You can
you
tell.
go.
I took the logic part of my law school exam. I made
And
it.
the population there is only 380,000. And I say only because my county is 2 million.
Oh, wow.
So for when I showed up there, it was like, it's so quiet. And people were like, oh my God, it's so busy and trafficy. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow.
That's how many people are in my neighborhood,
Wow.
like back home, right? So it's actually pretty small, and that's not counting, the tourism or how many people. I think it's a couple million a year that fly through there, But to me, it was really relaxed, except that and I guess it's a reflection of that the speed, km or whatever the hell I want to say miles per hour, but it's not 90, which is like 55. And so the reason why it takes so damn long to get everywhere on the island, it ain't traffic or the fact it's 2 lanes. It's that damn speed limit. So it's all safe there. No one's like, I never saw an accident.
Well, aside from it's because everyone's like, don't let the doors fly off in the wind. We already have enough of a risk. We don't need Leigh from Texas and her, no speed limit, coming through.
Exactly. Going 90 mph, which I wanted to do.
Similar to temperature, it's hard to convert, but I ran a half marathon when I was in Sydney, the Sydney Running Festival. I actually did a pub crawl with my girlfriends until about 2 a.m, went home and got up at 5 and took the train and did this half marathon. Well, it was so slow that I ran out of my running playlist ended and I still had like 2.5 kilometers to go. So I kind of had to like fidget and then I felt real down on myself. It was very slow for me and I'm not a fast runner altogether, but it was nice because there it gives you the distance every kilometer. And so it's like, it's as opposed to the US where it's like an update a mile. So you don't have to wait as long to get a sign. So I do appreciate that from the differences with the metric system.
Yeah. But anyway, that was, no speeding. So, but it's also like one of the safest. I think it's always like been ranked the safest for women, female travelers. And it's the, top 5 safest countries in the world. And it shows. I mean, everyone was just delightful.
I feel like now I've gone back and forth with when you've been talking about whether this would be fun for a Besties retreat or not. I've honestly gone back and forth. Yay. Then windy doors. No. Rim on the volcano. No. Safe for women. Yay.
Exactly.
So I think I'm back in the yay. Jamie, what do you think?
Yeah. Yay. Definitely yay.
Okay.
And you know what's crazy? Like a third of the tourists are Americans. So you see a lot of Americans there, but you can't tell. And then overheard a lot of Americans just talk about, or random travelers. I mean, I don't know if they're American or not. I just assumed. But they stop over there. That's the most northern capital in the world, Reykjavik. And they'll just stop over there on their way to or from Europe, right? Because that's like the layover spot or whatever. They'll do that and then go to the Blue Lagoon for a night or two, all crazy, like go to a spa or, something like that, or see something. And then so they break up their trip by doing this extended layover.
No cars, shots.
There you go.
So it's like the Atlanta. So like if you're flying Delta, you're used to Atlanta. So you can come to Atlanta and you could go and do a layover at like.
It's exactly the same as Atlanta.
Yeah. Okay. Our beautiful.
So it's exactly the same.
Go see the Chattahoochee, the beautiful bodies of water, all the things. Or you can go to Reykjavik. Okay. All right. I like that.
But just FYI, and that's going to be cheaper for Americans. You know what I mean? Because people are like, why would people do that? And I'm like, here's why they would do that. Because I can get a flight there for making it up $1,000, and then take the European flight, like book a European airline from there, and only spend like $100 to go to Rome from there, as opposed to $2,000 from here to go to Rome.
Very, very cool. Okay, well, I know what I'm doing.
So they're kind of breaking. I know.
Now, did you see Bjork? Did you go to the grocery store and see Bjork?
I did not. I did not see Bjork, but I did keep an eye out I saw swans, though. So I saw like the dress she wore as a real animal.
There you go.
Yeah, I saw swans.
Checked off your bingo card.
Yes, which now I get why she wore the swan dress, because that's like a bird there. Like that's like their pigeon. Right? It like makes sense, like they're
Oh,
there. They're
okay.
like all over. Isn't that wild?
I guess I've vaguely wondered that for like 30 years. And so now, okay.
Like across your mind, why a swan? Like in a way, you know what I mean? Like, oh, swan, interesting. Like when.
But now we know.
Now we know, man. Look at this. I went and I learned some shit. I was proud of myself.
Trivia now. Well, it's trivia at
I'm
this as we
prepared.
record the happy hour. So now, oh my God, it's Iceland trivia. So now Leigh is, we are.
Oh my God, I'll do it. I'll do that.
We'll do it. Now we just need to think of a good team name. And there we are. We're off to the races.
HR Besties.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah,
that'll work. Okay.
I know.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
everyone will boo when we win. Boo. The worst, of course.
Icy besties. I don't know.
Not HR besties.
I know, right? Like go incognito.
Hiding in plain sight. Here we are.
Exactly. Have you used Shopify? Shopify is the global commerce platform that can help you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage, to the first real life store stage, to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage, Shopify's there to help you grow. And I know that firsthand because as a digital creator, I have some swag and merch. And guess what? It was Shopify that helped me put it out there. That's right. I've got your back with a t-shirt that says, not a question, but a quick comment. And Shopify has my back to help get that t-shirt directly to you. Shopify gives me everything I need to take control of my business and take it to the next level. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/HRBesties, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/HRBesties now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/HRBesties. So now I'm just in recovery
I hear that.
until the next trips. You know how it is.
For sure. When's your next trip? Like next week? Jeez.
I was going to say next week, right?
Yeah, next week I'm in Vegas.
Right.
And then the next week I'm in Vegas.
And then next week you're in Vegas again with us.
Yeah, so that'll be good. September's busy.
Yes.
They say it's good to be busy though.
Yeah.
Some people say that. I can think of the list of people that say that. I also like to not be busy at times, but here we are.
Exactly. So transitioning back. So any current events? I think we've had a number of people reach out on a few things.
Yeah. Yeah. So we had quite a few besties wanted us to talk about the Wells Fargo employee that, terrible, but she passed away in her cube and she wasn't found for 4 days. And so, last week, because Leigh was in Iceland, we had pre-recorded, so we didn't get to talk about it. So we wanted to kind of share our thoughts. And I covered it on TikTok and just, so gross, so disappointing. The fact that people smelled a foul odor like other employees and no one bothered to investigate. They just assumed it was the sewer. And also like me knowing that I've done payroll before, if I would have seen someone being clocked in that long, like it would have sent a flag.
Was she an hourly employee?
Well, it doesn't really say. It just says that that from her badge, at least, that she badged in at 7. So I don't know if she was hourly or not, but like, there's just so many questions that go through my head. And it happened on a Friday and she wasn't found till that following Tuesday. And, I get that there's a weekend in there. However, they have security at this Wells Fargo. Like it's not an actual bank. It's like, an office, a headquarters, 24/7. So there should have been, you know what I mean? If it's just so disappointing and ugh.
Well, I say so her name is Denise Purdom, and the awful thing is, in a lot of places she'll be known as this horrible thing that happened. And so questions are when something horrible happens, and I don't know of her and her life situation, but what a absolutely just horrible. But I think one thing to really think about, and I think for organizations and in HR, is to think, okay, this happened. Is it that unusual that this can happen? And a lot of time you hear things about the loneliness at work and people working and you don't have opportunities for connection. And so I think a lot of times at a very base level is this question, and not phrased in the way of like, if this were to happen, would people know? But how many of us show up and we go to our desk, we do things, and you don't really interact with people? And what does that mean for people's lives and otherwise? And I actually think this could happen in far more workplaces than people would think, because you go and you have your path and things. And to your point, Jamie, it's like, again, like, and we've been in those situations at work. We're like, what's that smell? Like, I don't know. And people often don't want to go and investigate because they're like, okay, anytime you show initiative at work, it's like things are put on you. And so, people are like, I assume this is it. Someone's got to be taking care of this. But I think one real action item coming off the end of this is in HR, and whether this is what you talk to your leadership about, because they, the aspect of like loneliness at work, a lot of CEOs and other leaders are going to be like, I don't give a shit about that, candidly. I need people to get their things done. But to talk about like, this is the worst case scenario, but the reality for so many other people that will come and go at the end of the day is, what does that feel like to come and not have human interaction? And what can we do to just encourage actual human connection at work and feeling like people care about you and you have people that are going to be, alongside you?
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth when you said, this probably isn't so unusual, and it's not. I mean, I've had this in my career over a weekend, heart attack, right? And what shocks me about the Wells Fargo is that it wasn't until Tuesday. It should have been Monday morning, my opinion. You know what I mean? Like I get, the way our buildings are set up and security and different businesses, where that could potentially happen. What saddens me really about this case is knowing that most likely, no one was calling to look for her.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what happens, is that you have loved ones at home that are calling up and saying, hey, where is so-and-so? He hasn't come home, or she hasn't come, and then that's when it's like, okay, security does a sweep. We go back, we look, whatever, because death, as tragic as it is, happy Friday, it's common, right? It's part of life. And so those things are absolutely happening. But Ashley, you make a brilliant point about looking out for each other and caring for one another and being there for one another, checking on one another, right? Because even if that's not maybe the main culture you have at your organization or company, that could be your team culture. That could be your cubby line culture, right? I mean, culture, it's just a collection of accepted behaviors within a group, and that group can be however large or big or whatever, so you can care for your, the people right next to you and kind of do those check-ins. And just, a hello goes a long way, right? Because boy, loneliness, gosh, I mean, that's the saddest thing. But it does happen. Like I saw that headline and I was like, man, yeah, I've been there, and it is scary and it's sad. And a lot of times as an employee, if you're not in HR or leadership, you're not hearing about these things. I can think of a handful of scenarios similar to this, and it didn't make the headlines. It didn't make the news, right? I mean, things just happen, and we show up at 3 a.m. and handle something. I mean, and then we send something out. Hopefully, some companies don't, to say, tragically, something happened. You may have heard, like we kind of do things like that to dispel rumor mill, and be communicative. But yeah, bless her heart, being there for so long. But it also tells me they probably have a sewer issue in that building. You know what I mean? Like they have probably issues with that building. If people are like, oh, it's just the toilets are clogged again or whatever. Oh my God. Like, which is just.
Yeah. Right. The facilities. And when you're having people come to locations and things like that. And one thing I'd say is, if you're in HR, I mean, a lot of times these things happen and you send out the notice of, there's resources available, there's counseling, but it's incredibly important for HR to know that those resources are there for you. And you are often taking these things on. For those of us that have been in the situation where you've had the call from family or you've said this person didn't show up and had someone check on them and they there have been tragic things that happen. And often HR is the first line where it learns about things. And you're trying to make the decisions. I did see an article which said they notified her family and then notified employees, and you're trying to do things, and it's very hard. Because a lot of times people know because they want to care, but knowing for HR, it's incredibly important to get that support for yourself, because you're likely taking on a lot of that and taking on so much that it can go over the top. And so don't just be the mouthpiece for those. Know that you, whether you feel like you need it or you feel like, oh, I can take this on, you can, and everybody can't forever. And so those are there for you as well.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing I've never done. Was any support for me, because you're so focused on supporting everybody else. But
Yeah.
to your point, Ashley, we're the ones calling the hospital. We're the ones sometimes going with an employee to the hospital. We're on the floor with somebody. I've attended funerals for employees, right? I mean, and so we take on so much of that grief and pain. But isn't that funny how I'm reflecting? I can't think of any HR people that I've ever shared, oh, I actually use the counseling service. No, we just arranged it.
Yeah, same.
I did for my team, and I wasn't in HR, I was in legal, but I talked about it. I did employment law, and I was personally just going through a lot of stress. It was a lot of transitions. We'd moved geographically, and it was just a very different work culture, positive in some ways, but I was really struggling. And I thought to myself, I talk about this. It was actually during open enrollment and I said, I'm going to make appointments. And I talked to my team about my experience, about using it and what that was like and what I was eligible for. Because, as much as you read these things, I wasn't 100% positive. And so, I say a lot, and what I do is nobody should feel compelled. You don't have to share that. But to the extent you feel comfortable doing it, it doesn't show that you're weak. It can show that you're very strong, and it can be the message that other people need, even just hearing like other people have reached out. And so I talked about that with my team, and I gave feedback even, of course, to our team about some things that I may have done differently and what that's like. And so I do think even if you just want to try it out and do a session, just to go through that for yourself, if you're in HR, if you're in benefits, and you've never gone through that, and you might find it very, very helpful.
Even to your point, just to try it and experience it so you can firsthand share, you know what I mean, with employees that are struggling with the decision to do that. But I just laugh, like being HR, I think one time it probably took me all fucking day to like be able to get a counselor in for something, like there's always red tape and all this, and you're trying to coordinate and schedule whatever, and then man, I needed that counselor just after that experience of trying to get that counselor in, let alone the terrible thing that had occurred. But yeah, it's wild how we don't take advantage. Sometimes we don't look at the benefits like they're for us, and that we need them because we're so busy giving, to the workforce and arranging all those things.
I guarantee Jamie, open enrollment, you do a lot of the giving and not as much of the accepting or taking.
Of course not. I know. And EAPs are such great resources for employees. And I think a lot of times employees forget until it is an incident like this. And that's why we, HR professionals, should be promoting it constantly, because it's typically a free resource. Some places you can get 3 to 5 counseling sessions. It can be so powerful and so helpful.
That's a big one because the utilization rates of EAPs are
4%. I think it's like,
I know that's the average. I was going to say 3 to 5%. Yeah, it's 4%.
Right in the middle. And so, and people don't realize, and you often don't have to be enrolled in the benefits, and it can be for you and your dependents, and in places that don't have them as well. Again, the cost tends to be borne by the employer. Often it is, while it's not literally pennies, it relatively is pennies compared to the other costs and things like that.
Yeah. Well, bless her. Oh gosh.
Jamie, thank you for bringing that up. And Jamie's posts on it were spot on.
Yeah. It messed me up that day when I read that. It really, because you kind of think back of the 21 years as an HR professional and kind of all the
things.
Yeah. All the things, all the death that has occurred, sadly. And yeah.
Deep in the ocean, an orca pod is on the hunt. But these aren't your average orcas. These guys are organized.
Marketing team, did you get those social media posts scheduled for the SEAL migration?
Aye, Captain. We even have an automated notification for all pod managers when they go live.
They use Monday.com to keep their teamwork sharp, their communication clear, and their goals in sight. Monday.com. For whatever you run, even orcas. Go to Monday.com to dive deeper.
On that note, Jamie, lift us up.
Well, I have like a reoccurring dream that I've been having, and I haven't told y'all ladies because I just thought it was odd. It's not as juicy as yours, Leigh, unfortunately.
No. I don't think anyone's dreams are quite as juicy or
It's actually very G-rated now that I think about it.
okay.
But what made me laugh is I was like, I've had this dream now 7 or 8 times. I was like, what is the meaning? So I, of course, Googled the meaning behind it. And so basically, the dream is always different, but I always am walking somewhere, like out of a restaurant, out of school, out of work, out of somewhere, and I hear a cat's meow, and I find a kitten. The kitten has been all different colors. There's been an orange kitten, a black and white kitten, an all black kitten, an all white kitten, but it's always an itty bitty kitty, and I'm always finding it in grass. Yeah, random, right? But like, after the 8th time of having this dream, I told my husband after like the 5th or 6th time, I'm like, what the heck? He was like, well, you're going to find a cat. And I'm like, no, like, what the hell? So this is what I found interesting. Dreaming about kittens can represent innocence and your desire to reconnect with your inner child.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Thought that part was interesting. I'm like, I feel like I do every day with millennial misery, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff I post, I'm like, oh my God, memes. But I just thought that was very interesting.
Wow.
And maybe the cat distribution system will bless me with a kitten.
You of all people need another.
Like I need another animal.
You'll get blessed with like 6 kittens. All 8. All 8 are going to show up at your door in all the different colors. And you'll just be, oh, okay. Bring them on in. Maybe that's a good thing that we're going to Vegas, which is like
I can't find a kitten in Vegas though. So I can't let them go sneak it on the plane home.
Well, your inner child, we can go to Circus and you can, does Circus still exist? I feel like maybe it doesn't.
I don't even know what Circus is.
Oh, no, this is so sad.
No, didn't it get blown up? I don't know.
I thought so. I just Googled,
It's about to be blown up, isn't it? Like October.
Circus to see if it still exists. And the top video that popped up is, this is why people hate on the Circus Hotel. Well, I will say, I have a slight dislike of the Circus Hotel from back in 2005 because my husband got overcharged on something and it was like ridiculous, this fee. And it was
Still talking about it.
I was like a first-year law student and he's like, get legal on them. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. But I do remember that still, that like credit card dispute and it was, it cost $38 to stay at Circus. That's another article. Well, okay.
Well, if we need hotel rooms.
Maybe it's not being destroyed. I swear, I thought it was being destroyed as well, Leigh, right?
It might be. I don't know.
I don't think it is. I think it's like the Mandela effect, Shazam, all those things. I swear, I would have bet $38 a night stay that it was going to
It was getting imploded.
Yeah. Huh.
I don't know. They're blowing up all sorts of shit. But maybe that is a sign like you're ready for Vegas.
The Tropicana.
Oh, there you go.
Yes. The Tropicana.
Is getting.
Yes.
We had one of my company retreats there, where I constantly missed my flight back out. I had such a good time. We had dinner at the top of the Tropicana. It was like a revolving restaurant and it was fun. So I'm sad that's going away.
Well, you will not be, this is my promise to Dan, you will not miss your flight on the way home because I have an early flight as well.
You will drag me.
Yes, I will.
Yeah. He'll appreciate that. He'll appreciate that. I need both a podcast co-host, friend, and most importantly, guardian. It's not going to be Leigh. It's not Leigh. Leigh and I would have connecting rooms, and she would move on. She would be like, "I'm not going to deal with this. You take your personal responsibility," and which is fair. Which is a fair comment to an adult.
Oh, I'd knock. I'd want to split the Uber.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Jamie would put me in the baby Bjorn. Like it's like the hangover. Pop me up. We're going.
I literally would.
Exactly.
I literally would.
Exactly.
I would like carry you over my shoulder.
Yeah, we wouldn't be late, That'll be fun though. So we have Vegas coming up where Jamie can, let her inner child release.
Yikes.
Go crazy, stay up late, make bad decisions. eat and drink, whatever.
Look at we'll put back on our stories, unlike Sherm, where we went and where can we find you? Like, I don't know, near this other random booth. We have 2 dedicated opportunities. We are speaking at HR Tech and doing a live podcast recording, and we can get the free Expo Pass. We will put that in our stories so you can get there. And then also we'll be at the UKG booth, and they will have some free HR Besties merch. So
HR Besties / UKG merch. All cool.
/ UKG co-branded collab. You can RSVP so it'll be like the Beatles.
That'll be fun. I hope if you're going out there, let us know, right? We can put something in the stories.
Yeah, we would love to meet y'all.
Yes, it'd be so great.
Yeah, somebody I know that another Ashley, I'll just put it that way, who she works remotely, so we'd work together, and we've never met in person. She's coming. So yeah. She's an HR Besties listener. So tip of the hat, Ash. Can't wait to see you.
Yeah. No, I've had a few handfuls just in my DMs, people I do not know, but will know, say, hey, they're coming out, so they're excited to see the session and whatnot. So
no feet pictures, people going into Leigh's DMs. You cannot, just because we're doing mean grades does not mean feet pictures. So if we're posing for pictures, cameras up, because we've seen Leigh's DMs.
Cameras up.
They're not right.
Yeah, no, they're not. But the majority are right, But yeah, if you do want feet pictures, that's extra. And my Venmo's at HR Manifesto. Oh gosh. Oh, well, good times. It's almost time for Vegas.
All right. Well, glad to have you back on this continent, Leigh, and all together. And we can't wait to unite very soon. Warm up Vegas for us next week, Leigh.
I know I will. That sounds bad. I was about to say something, but it's going to be misconstrued.
Taken out of the very accurate context in which it was said.
Exactly. In which I meant it completely. Yeah. No, we'll warm up Vegas. I'll warm up Vegas for sure next week. And then we'll release our inner children.
Ow, ow. Meow, I should say.
Meow. Meow.
Meow, meow, meow.
I've been working on my bark.
Oh.
The growl from our Wednesday episode.
Yeah.
Yelp.
Yeah, it's got to be a little deeper than that. We'll work on those in Vegas too.
Like the DMX bark is perfect.
Yeah.
He had perfected the bark.
Which you can do, Jamie. You got that.
Yeah, you can do that. Well, God, on that note, everyone enjoy their weekends. We've got a hard stop.
I have a hard stop.
Hard stop.
Oh my God, Jamie, can you please bring that out for a meeting at some point? Please, I have a hard stop, and bring out your red stop sign.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay.
Yes, of course.
That's cute. Love it.